guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're working on the 98 Cobra again. And so up top, anywhere over 3,000 RPM, we're getting a little bit of a breakup. And so the first thoughts that come to mind are the plugs, which we'll change out. Hopefully it's not the intake manifold runner control, because that does happen to kick in right around 3,000 RPM, and that's a whole different system that we'll get into later. But anyway, another thought is, you know, the fuel pump could be going on it, and just it's not getting its proper fuel supply at the top end. Or just one other thing I'm going to check right now and just show you how to do, since it's simple, is to make sure that the coil packs have the proper setup with each ignition lead going to the proper cylinder. And so in 1999, for this body style, 99 to 04, they changed it so it was a little more simple. It went to a coil on plug. So basically, you just had a harness coming through for the ignition system, and everywhere it plugged into ignition coil that goes right on top of the spark plug. Okay, so before that, on this generation, in earlier Mustangs, you had the coil packs out here, and you had ignition leads that go to each of the cylinders. And so basically what we're checking is making sure that the proper lead is going to the proper cylinder. Now if you look at these coil packs, when they get dirty like this, you'd never know, but deep underneath the dirt, there's actually a diagram here that shows you which lead goes to which cylinder. Now, Ford made it a little confusing here as well, because they used the same block for both sides. And so you can see the numbering here. All they did was say, okay, so basically this front ignition lead is going to power either cylinder 5 or cylinder 8. Okay, so you have to make sure that when you're checking each side that you're using all of the same inner numbers or all of the same outer numbers. Okay, now on the Mustangs, at least for this generation, and 94 through 04 for sure, you have cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the driver's side 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so just basically looking at this diagram here, we're going to use all of the little inner numbers first. So you can see here's this coil pack is going to run cylinder 8, cylinder 2, cylinder 7 up top, and then cylinder 4 right here. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to have to follow each of these, and where they disappear here, they actually twist all around. So we're going to go ahead and take these off. These are just little nuts. It's really nice on this era because they have little studs that come out that the plate sits on. So anyway, we're just going to take off all of those. It's like a 12 millimeter. And then we're going to basically just follow these ignition leads and make sure they're going to the proper cylinders. Now, if they were mixed up, you'd probably know it pretty easily. The car would run like absolute crap if you had the wrong cylinders hooked up. But anyway, it's just something that I wanted to show you, and something that we'll look at. And eventually we're going to pull the plugs anyway and give it a fresh set of spark plugs. Okay, so on the driver's side, we're going to be going after these darker ones. So this front one should be for number 8. Then this top one should be for number 2, then cylinder 4 and cylinder 7. And so far so good. This is the one right here that was going to number 8 according to that diagram. So we followed it all the way through here. It disappears down into the cam, the coil cover, whatever you want to call it, and it goes all the way back to number 8. So number 8 is good. So we'll just try to check all the ones on the driver's side while we have that cover off. And so number 7 would be this one, and it's going to come up here, follow it through, and it goes to number 7, so we're good there. Okay, and then these other two are going to be for the other ones will be for the other side. Okay, so now we need number 6, which is on this side, but it's going to be this back one here. Just want to follow this and make sure that it goes to number 6, which it does. Okay, and then number 5, according to our diagram from the other coil pack, is this front one right here. So this one here, and it's the last one going over there, so process of elimination. And yes, it's correct. Okay, so we know that this side is correct, we can go ahead and put these back on. And to remove them, you just pinch and then lifted them up. Now, one thing to note is that as these coil packs go bad, and the same with each individual coil that goes on top of the spark plug for that body style, it will jolt under somewhat heavy load, or even just going up a hill with the, you know, if you're going up a hill, 5th gear, and you start adding throttle and it starts jumping and skipping, that's typically a telltale sign of a bad coil pack. So in this case, it would be this whole block that we would replace, where on those cars you'd take off the actual ignition coil that sits on the spark plug. And I have a video on that when I changed the plugs in the Terminator, so I'll throw that link in the description too if you want to see what it's all about. And these covers are actually pretty nice because they have little studs that they go on. So these are actually little caps that you screw back on. So we'll go ahead and put this back into place and tighten it back down. Okay, so everything checked out on this side. We just went between the 2 coil packs again. And so just remember, on this one we were using the darker numbers. I guess they'd be the lighter numbers with the dark background for one side, and then the lighter background with the darker numbers for the other coil pack. So we followed each of them. Everything went well. Over on this side, I just had to loosen this to pop off the intake to get that cover off. So now everything checked out. I'm just putting these back on. So that concludes our work for today. So just stay tuned as we put in some new spark plugs and continue to work on it. And it's a nice little project car. Otherwise, it's running very good. So I don't think it's any mechanical issue. I think it's just something electrical, something we'll figure out. But anyway, stay subscribed, and thanks for watching.